Welcome, everyone. It's Tuesday, August 19th, 2025. This is an open door, our regular Tuesday morning offering called Training Reels, in which we review the daily lessons of A Course in Miracles. And today we are on lesson 46, God is the love in which I forgive. As I usually do, I read through the first 50 lessons and I invite people to close down their screens. I'm going to shut my video off so that I can just focus on the lesson and the meditation. Um, some people will probably be joining us and they'll join us right in the middle. So again, if you've just joined us, yep, just you can shut your video off. So get yourself comfortable. We'll do a brief meditation again this morning as part of the daily lesson. So screens off if you'd like, and just settle in. Welcome, welcome. So glad you're here. I'm so glad to be here with you. It's funny how these lessons are valuable, even if we've done the entire lesson book 15 times or 20 times. Some of the first lessons are still the most valuable. So we begin. Nothing I see means anything. I have given everything I see all the meaning it has for me. I do not understand anything I see. These thoughts do not mean anything. I am never upset for the reasons I think. I'm upset because I see something that is not there. I see only the past. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. I see nothing as it is now. My thoughts do not mean anything. My meaningless thoughts. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. I am upset because I see a meaningless world. A meaningless world engenders fear. God did not create a meaningless world. My thoughts are images I have made. I have no neutral thoughts. I see no neutral things. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. I am determined to see. I am determined to see things differently. What I see is a form of vengeance. But I can escape from the world I see by giving up attack thoughts. I do not perceive my own best interests. I do not know what anything is for. My attack thoughts are attacking my own invulnerability. Above all else, I want to see. Above all else, I want to see things differently. God is in everything I see. Love, source, all that is in everything I see. Source is in everything I see because my source is in my mind. I am not a victim of the world I see. I have invented the world I see. There is another way of looking at the world. I could see peace instead of this. My mind is part of source mind. I am very holy. My holiness envelops everything I see. My holiness blesses the world. There is nothing my holiness cannot do. My holiness is my salvation. I am blessed as a son of God. God, source, love, go with me wherever I go. Love is my strength, and vision is love's gift. Love is my source. I cannot see apart from love. God is the light in which I see. Love is the light in which I see. Love, God, is the mind in which I think. God is the love in which I forgive. God is the love in which I forgive. Today's lesson on forgiveness is a foundation for nearly all the teachings of A Course in Miracles. A Course in Miracles does not use the term forgiveness in the traditional sense. It goes far beyond to ask, what forgives and for what? Or who is forgiving who? In answering, it asks the question, what kind of God would condemn its own creation? Indeed, what kind of God would knowingly even create a situation that requires any forgiveness for anything at all? Most religious traditions hold to the idea that God, Source, the Father, is both wrathful and forgiving. A sin is committed and God sees it, and it angers him. And so God, the Father, is petitioned for forgiveness. We are told someone died for us, and we need only accept him to be forgiven. But consider this. If forgiveness is required, someone first has to be condemned for bad behavior. Who is condemned and who is doing the condemning? If God is one, and God is unity, and God is all that is, and God is love, Is God not condemning an aspect of itself? Does God need to forgive its own creation, a creation which is itself? If so, then God is in conflict with itself, or God is in conflict with something that is not itself. Consider the logic in this thought. God is in conflict with something that is not itself. There is no conflict in Source. Source sees all things, knows all things as itself, and Source does not hurt itself. That would be insanity. And God is not insane. It is we, the small self, the egoic mind, that is in conflict with itself. We who have hurt each other and ourselves. You have learned that your thoughts are images you have made. You have learned you have no neutral thoughts. This includes everything down to the last leaf on the last tree. The catch is this: the personal mind now completely identifies with what has been created. Some images it judges good, and some it judges unworthy, bad, or even evil. That which is unworthy or bad or evil, especially evil, it denies creating at all. This is the conflict of separation. It is called projection, and it occurs on a collective scale, far, far beyond the individual conscious awareness of the personal mind. The personal mind, the individual or seemingly individual consciousness, has walled itself off from remembrance of its own creation and its own divinity. Helplessness, despair, guilt, revenge, and blame are the logical consequences. It is the will of Source, it is the will of love, it is the will of God that we be happy, that we extend the love that we are without any fear or any judgment at all. It takes great courage to admit you do not like your own creation. But as long as you choose to remain a victim of the world you think you see, you will be out of alignment with Source. This is why the miracle of forgiveness is given to our mind. This is why we are asked to become again as a little child. We were created innocent, and forgiveness returns the mind to its own original being. Forgiveness is required in every single circumstance the personal mind judges anything at all. Today, you are asked to consider 3 practice periods. This is really the beginning of soul growth in a form that this world rarely experiences. This practice asks you to remember your own invulnerability and to extend this knowing to others through forgiveness. This is the only way that we can be truly creative in this world. So let's take 5 minutes, maybe a little bit more, and just close our eyes. If they're not already closed, just sink a little more deeply into relaxation. You can place your awareness on the breath, if that helps you deepen your relaxation. You can allow all tension to flow out of the body on the out breath. And now allow any conflict, any person, any situation that you have judged unworthy or which you are in conflict with or which you are uncomfortable with or which you even hate or despise or which you are afraid of. Let it arise in your awareness. It's okay if you can't find anything, but even a small grudge will do. We have to forgive entirely or not at all. So as you sit in complete relaxation, allowing whatever grudge, whatever hatred arises in your mind, see the person or see the situation. And now say in your mind, God is the love in which I forgive. God is the love in which I forgive Sarah or Tom or this situation, whatever it is. Let it arise and repeat the lesson. Do you notice any resistance? Do you notice any relief? If there's someone else or something else you need to forgive, move on to the next person or the next situation. You may need to forgive an illness in the body. You may need to forgive something you're afraid of. You may need to forgive an ancient grudge. You may need to forgive the fact that you think you don't have enough time. So forgive time and the idea of time. Let's play with this forgiveness, extending it into anything that we resist. Let's play with it for 5 minutes, and then I'll bring us back. And if you cannot find anything else to forgive, then make sure to say, God is the love in which I forgive myself. That is another perfectly suitable thing to forgive. In fact, that should end the practice. God is the love in which I forgive myself. When you're ready, take a few deep cleansing breaths and repeat the lesson. God is the love in which I forgive. And come on back. It's funny, but Cindy, I see your hand is up. When I first did this lesson, I remember feeling like I just didn't have the internal capacity to forgive everything that needed to be forgiven, which really showed the depth of my own lack of confidence in my own divinity, showing the depth of my own self-hatred and the sense in which the only way I could survive was by holding grudges and protecting myself. And it seemed like there were so many things to forgive. The whole world. I didn't see how that would be possible. But I had enough desire and enough faith that I figured I could just start with one or two things. And so I also loved that God was the love in which I did the work, right? So the small me, the personal mind, I gave it up to God. God is the love. So, and our next lesson really identifies this very well. God is the strength in which I live and move. So it wasn't Amy who was doing it. It was God is the love in which. So I unconsciously borrowed from this innate sense of love that I needed and wanted and relied on and so desired. Just like when my brother wept because he so needed to know that God loved him and that God was waiting for him to come back and that God would not be complete without him. And so it was that into which I kind of let myself fall and do the work. So God is the love in which I forgive. That became the source of my faith to play with this lesson of forgiveness, to allow it to be. But this lesson is a game changer. Would but the rest of the world understand this lesson. So simple, and yet so antithetical to the way most of us live and breathe and do our daily things. But it changes everything. So thank you for being here this morning. I love us. Thank you for doing the work and sharing your work with everyone else. Cindy, what have you got?
First, I'm inspired to say I was sitting at one point last night and I realized that I saw Patricia in the meetings yesterday, but I don't remember her ever speaking yesterday, and I missed it. So just wanted to say that out loud. It was a natural number, and I'm also there's an energetic wooziness in my space, the experience. of those 27 minutes of just being with the tone, the vibration as it was coming from you, Amy, was it was exquisite. And for a while, it was like a dance. I was feeling the vibration of your share and the love that it was coming from, and it was hitting different places here, even without focusing on the words. Um, and then I just wanted to communicate there was a natural shift in the verbiage here for me when we sat for the forgiveness practice. Instead of saying God is the love with which I forgive, what was happening here was God is the love in which forgiveness arises. It just occurred. And from that really kind of neutral space, uh, one of my daughters arose and some sensations within the body arose. And it was just this beautiful, like swimming in it. But the words, like, love, God is the love in which forgiveness arises. It took all sense of personal responsibility out of the experience. There was nothing about the thinking mind that made that shift. It just happened. And so I wanted to share that.
Mm.
That's where I am. Thank you.
Mm. Interesting. I appreciate what you said. In God is the love in which forgiveness arises. Mm. That's a really interesting take on it. Sandra, come to the head of the table.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As you were reading, what kept coming back through my mind was the reading we did yesterday on the laws of chaos. And I think, I'm trying to remember, they were like all these laws, but the first law was that we each have our own truth. And that's a law of chaos, that we think we each have our own truth. So in any conflict, everybody's holding on to their own truth. And then the second law was that everyone must sin, that everyone is doing something wrong. I'm still back on your brother. I'm really stuck on your brother because he and the other, the foundation of that religion is that everybody is born into sin. Everybody is a sinner. So therefore we need forgiveness or punishment or something. So having said that, what came to me as you were asking us to bring people up to forgive, I realized that the only way I could actually come up with people to forgive was to identify with the person that I no longer identify with. It's all a question of identity. Who do I identify as? Because when I identify as the truth of who I am, there is nothing to forgive. They're all are innocent.
Yeah.
And I go back and forth. I admit that. I go back and forth. But in this time, in this morning, after reading about the laws of chaos yesterday and seeing how crazy the world is, how chaotic it is based on these laws, right now, I mean, I tried to think of my father. I tried to think of myself, but I did not need to forgive anyone or anything. And it felt so good. You asked how it felt. How did it feel? It felt light. It wasn't like, oh yeah, it's wonderful. It didn't feel like, it just felt right. felt right. Like, this is true. This innocence is true. Even with all the news, all the mind didn't even want to fight it anymore. It just gave up wanting to fight that it all are innocent. So I thought I'd share that. I think that's the first time that's happened doing these lessons. And it may be exactly what Cindy pointed to, that your voice and your vibration brought us to the upper room. And in the upper room, all are innocent. The laws of chaos do not apply.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandra. Patricia, good to see you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Amy. Per usual, you go into a particular place in consciousness, and all of a sudden, there's some beauty that comes out. And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate your heart and how much, yes. Makes me cry. Sandra, when you were talking, I had this image of in the upper room. When I'm in the upper room, when I'm in that place of awareness and stillness, which these days I have to grab. It's been busy. But when I'm in there, I can look down, and this particular vibration, I look down to the chaotic vibration, and I can have compassion and send a wave of peace. That's the image that came. So I wanted to thank you for that, Sandra. That was Thank you.
I love that. And the lesson ends with God is the love in which I forgive myself. And the Course teaches so many times that you can't give what you don't have. So what a beautiful, what a beautiful thing to be able to look at yourself in the space of peace and quiet and forgive that sense of the small self's fear. It's such a, it's just, you're your own savior, right? Yeah, it's beautiful. I love that. I think the thing a Course does, and that non-dual teachings in general do, which I so appreciate, is really explaining and forcing us to explore the unreality of this world. They really illuminate the unreality or the dream that this world is. And that's not something that that Western Christianity does. Heaven is someplace over here, and our world is someplace over here, and never the twain shall meet, and that's in between is where the punishment comes. And I've had conversations with, I will say, my brother about this being a dream world, and the response is often scathing. He has, and I don't think he would do this anymore, but he did a while ago. He would call me naive and ill-informed and naive, hopelessly naive, to say that this is a dream and that no one is ultimately ever hurt. But there are those who are so ensconced in the reality of this world that all of its pain and suffering is inescapable. Sandra. Yeah.
I just got lost in what you were saying. I was so identifying with what you were saying that I kind of forgot what I was I raised my hand. Um, heaven, when you talked about heaven.
Heaven is over here and the world is over here.
So yesterday, Richard pointed us. Do you remember this, Richard? You pointed us to the last paragraph
Yes.
in the reading.
Yes.
And I read that like 3 times during the day yesterday. And it's so clear from the Course that there's 2 realities right here, right now. There's a heaven and there's a hell. I mean, I have experienced hell on this earth. Honestly, but then what did it say? It said there's a stairway. You can go up or you can go down.
I'll read it. Can I read it?
Yes, that would help.
How can you know whether you choose the stairs to heaven or the way to hell? Quite easily. What do you feel? Is peace in your awareness? Are you certain which way you go? And are you sure the goal of heaven can be reached? If not, you walk alone. Ask then your friend, the Holy Spirit, or the Christ consciousness, to join with you and give you certainty of where you go.
So that's exactly what happened during this meditation. I just knew that all were innocent and there was no need for me to judge anymore or to forgive in the old traditional sense. But they started the lesson by saying, this isn't that type of forgiveness anyway. And to me, the Course is always, and I don't know if I have this right, help me with this, Amy, but I have interpreted it as I'm not seeing what I think I'm seeing, that I can look past what I'm seeing, the thing that needs to be forgiven, and see something else, which is the truth and the innocence beyond the behaviors that are there. It's not like I'm denying the behaviors, I'm just seeing beyond to the essence, the light.
Yeah, I see it that way too. It's that I'm allowing the other person their own reaction because it's fear. And I have to allow their fear. I can't take their fear away from them. So I give it to, I don't know the meaning of anything I see, but I do know that when I see fear and judgment arises in me because of someone else's fearful reaction, that I'm not seeing, as you said, the whole picture, right? There's a wonderful, wonderful part, and I'm paraphrasing here in a course, which says something to the effect of any answer that you seek from the Holy Spirit's answer will always be a healing for both parties. It will never judge or um, limit love. It will always be a healing for both. It will never condemn. Not either one. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Sandra. Patricia and then Cindy.
I must, excuse me. That was an important reading yesterday because I have been caught up in chaos. The chaos of trying to find a flight back to the States and getting hooked in that and getting overwhelmed with information, etc. I didn't think to go. It didn't come into consciousness to say, just let go. let go and just see what happens. You'll get your flight. You don't have to have it right away. Have faith. I didn't. And when I don't have faith and I don't let go and I don't ask the Holy Spirit to help me, it's chaos. And the chaos of, people around with fear, and to have some compassion for that fear because it's reactionary and judgmental. It is about a concern. It's coming across reactionary and not very pleasant. But underneath it, it is, I want to make sure you're okay. I didn't get that. So I got hooked, and there I was. I was in a fight. The Holy Spirit wasn't there. I had gone down the stairs, and I needed to climb back up. And I think this is when I come here, and thank you, Cindy, for offering this wonderful opportunity for us to meet. And Cindy's going, "You're welcome." When I come here, I am reminded, and I am so grateful. So I thank you all very much. Much love.
Thank you, Patricia. One of my first teachers used to talk about getting lost, and she had a phrase which most of you know. It's "we all do until we don't." Right? So we all get lost until we don't, right? And that's such a beautiful way of not judging, not blaming. We all do it until we don't do it, right? And that's why the daily lessons are so phenomenal. And that's why they ask you to do them 3 times a day. Sit down 2 more times today and just ask yourself if there's anybody that you need to forgive, including yourself, or any situation. I mean, this lack of forgiveness can be, I said time for a reason. If I tell myself, I've got to hurry because I don't have enough time, that's a lack of forgiveness for the idea of time. If I have an illness in the body, I'm not forgiving the body. I'm condemning the body and myself. Anything that causes even the slightest bit of annoyance is a lack of forgiveness, and it's coming up to be seen. And the more we practice these, the more refined our sense of discomfort at the slightest little thing becomes. And that's what the guides are talking about increasing the frequency and the tone and all of that. It's like even the most, even the smallest rub becomes something that we can't avoid seeing. And it's the same practice that we use for the sledgehammer that comes over our head. It's the same practice. See it, forgive it. See it, look at it as an offering. It's like love is offering you, here's another opportunity to remember me. Right? To remember that I've got your back. Right? I've always got your back, which is a very human way of putting it. You never left. Cindy, what you got?
We shall see. I like to ask myself, when I remember to ask myself, what is it about this situation that I believe I can handle better than God? Helps me move into that space. Um, well, while Sandra was sharing, there were a couple, and then you as well, I mean, there were a couple of things from other teachings, which are all the same teaching, different words that lit up that I felt to say out loud. One of them is this Kabbalah study I'm doing with my sisters and my cousin, and key to that teaching is this idea of certainty. So as you were talking about certainty, this teacher clearly states all the time that there's nothing more powerful than this teaching of certainty, and it's the certainty that everything comes, like it's Nadego, the certainty that it's all God, the certainty that this moment, key to the way he teaches it, is this recognition that everything is for me. So no matter what is going on in the world, neutralize in Cindy's world, everything is a gift that is in this moment, has an opportunity to help me raise my vibration. Everything. So that word certainty. And then when you're talking about the certainty and the stairwells, I am facilitating an Isabhadata Maharaj course. And so almost every day I'm pulling a quote. And so it really hit me during Sandra's share, the quote that I'm sitting with today. So I wanted to read it. It's only take a couple seconds. And it reads, the idea of enlightenment is of utmost importance. Just to know that there is such a possibility changes one's entire outlook. It acts like a burning match in a heap of sawdust. All the great teachers did nothing else. A spark of truth can burn up a mountain of lies. The opposite is also true. The sun of truth remains hidden behind the cloud of self-identification with the body, unquote. So as I was listening to Sandra, it was like, oh, there's chills. Like literally the whole body just got really chilled. I realized that what Sandra was sharing in that last paragraph that I'll now have to go back and perhaps read a couple of times that Richard pointed us to yesterday. Isn't it? I love the tapestry is essentially stating the same thing. If I sit here knowing that everything is God, and it's all vibration, and then being in this place, okay, I'm going to practice certainty that everything is for me, everything is God. At that point, it becomes so much easier to see which direction I'm looking in. Am I going up the stairs or down the stairs, you know? So that's what I wanted to add to the conversation.
Thank you. What I love about that quote is just it asks you to constantly be in touch with what do I feel? What do I feel? What do I feel? What do I feel? Right? Yeah. And when I know myself part of a greater whole, and I know myself loved and supported and cared for, how can I not feel good no matter what is happening? Right. Sandra, just jump in. Everybody just
Talking a lot today.
good.
I realize a lot of the teachers tell us to watch our thoughts. Like I remember Muji was always telling me to watch your thoughts, watch your thoughts. And at one point I recognized the connection between this thought takes me up and this kind of thought takes me down. And it was a feeling in the body, just what you just said. So that feeling in the body is such a good guidepost. And that, that those thoughts are icky feelings. I mean, I put icky into a whole category of feelings, but they're the icky feelings. And these thoughts are uplifting. And so right away, it wasn't that I would try to stop them, that didn't work, but I just recognized them. Just in the recognition changes everything. Because the recognition changes my identity from the personal self to the truth. That includes the personal self. I'm not saying they're separate. It includes it, but it broadens it to a wider, like, you know, the camera lens that can be very narrow, but then you go like this. I don't know what that's called, but you make it go wide.
In the aperture.
Okay, that's what happens.
Yep.
I also want to welcome Alice. Hi, Alice. I'm so glad you're here.
Me
We
too.
meet almost every day. I don't know if I told you that.
Yeah. Well, we are meeting again at noon for 12 stepping, where we discuss our addictions to thoughts. Doesn't have to be addiction to alcohol, can be addiction to thoughts, addiction to the idea of personal self, addiction to stories. And I will not be able to join us because I have a medical appointment, but I know that you will have a great meeting and I'll be thinking of you. So, anybody have any last minute thoughts? Or Richard, you haven't told us you love us yet.
Love us all. The only thing came to mind was in that paragraph we were all talking about feelings is I was as a male of the species. I was conditioned to believe feelings were not part of my manifestation. Manifesting feelings for a male in our society was a signal of weakness. So I was taught all my life, the rest of my ability to reason, thought were more important than feeling. So for many years I judged others because they were being ridiculous and they were worried about their feelings and not what they thought. And if they were mature, they would think and realize what the problem was and solve it, rather than feel about it. So part of my journey in the last 30 plus years, getting in touch with feelings again. I'm enjoying it, but there have been many times I have not enjoyed it because I wasn't used to it. I was tough. I built a shield around my heart that didn't allow my feelings to manifest. And learning to get rid of that shield and face my feelings. I now sit and watch a movie, I tear up. I never did that. For 50 years, I never teared up. I mean, that was a sign of weakness. So now it happens all the time. I've released all the boundaries. And the other thing I wanted to share real quickly was studying the course. I have this mantra I say multiple times every day, probably. And I thought it was a quote from the course. I'm not sure. But I am the light of the world. The light of the world has come to every mind because I have forgiven the world. And I really have forgiven the world. That's what brings me more joy than anything. I don't judge anything anymore. I sometimes I do, obviously, but by and large, I don't judge anything. I try not to judge anything. Just love it all, regardless of what it is, what it appears to be. Just love it. Love us all.
Love us all. You know, it's really funny. Richard, you and William are, I think, among the wisest of our group. And I think some of it is because you've seen and done so much more than most of us we're a little bit younger. And
That's because we're ancient.
you are. You have-
Today's my 85th birthday.
Happy birthday! Okay, I have to sing you a birthday song. You want to stop the recording?
No, I want it on the recording.
Let's all sing happy birthday. Happy
Everybody
birthday.
has to unmute. Everybody.
Oh,
has
have to unmute. Okay, ready? Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to you. Happy
birthday
to
to you.
Richard, the dream character.
Happy birthday,
Happy
dear Richard.
Richard.
Happy birthday
to you. Okay, I'm gonna sing another one. I'm gonna sing one more, just by myself, because that was kind of a bit of that was chaotic. Happy birthday, we love you. Happy birthday, and may all your dreams come true. When you blow out the candle, the love light stays aglow. That's the love light in your heart for all to know.
Oh,
Happy
Thank
birthday.
you so much. I
lovely.
love us all. One of it, we're all having a birthday day. It's only being manifested by Richard.
That is true. So thank you for being born. All
Thank
right.
you for being here. My mom, part of my experience, I recently saw back another interview with Christian Sundberg, and he was saying what a joy it is to be in this existence and have all these things to deal with, because every time you deal with an issue in your life, you're avoiding your frequency, and when you brought back into the non-physical realm as a being, you are so much more loving and full of love. You can love everything. So everything is preparing you for a much greater experience within the non-physical realm.